So, with the foot exploration, we're starting off at the very beginning of this, thinking about what our foot should be doing, how it should feel. But we can't really ask that question until we have some basic knowledge of how it's moving. So, we're going to start and looking at the toes individually. One of the best things you can start to do is pull your toes. Literally flex them, bend them. You might feel some popping and cracking. That just means that they haven't been moving in a long time. So, start with pulling the toes, then you can flex all the toes. You can extend them, get them to move, see what feels stuck, see what feels pliable. As you get more and more into this process, your feet will become more pliable and more mobile, and that's an awesome process as the tissue starts to become less fibrotic and becomes more mobile. Press in between the toes, feel any pressure points, pull the toes apart. Start to think about all this stuff. There's no right or wrong. We're just exploring these movements and seeing what presents itself and seeing where pain is so we can note that to work on it as we go through the process. Pull ankle circles. You're going to grab your hands, clasp them behind your Achilles and your calf muscles, and then pull up towards your torso. Then you're going to press your foot and ankle through that, like you're trying to push your foot into a wetsuit or a sock. And you're going to do slow, controlled ankle circles each direction. Now, if you feel any stiffness or tightness at the skin, as though it feels like the skin is stretching, that's excellent. That means you're starting to get some of that fascial adhesion lubricated and get more slide in there. So slow, controlled circles. We want these to be circles, not boxy, blocky squares. Foot splay plantar stretch. This is a must-have after any type of running or any type of athletic maneuver. We're going to angle the ankles in so that all toes are on the ground, the knees are out a little bit. We're going to work to get that butt back to your heel. You can start off with the knees off the ground as a regression and start to work on this holding your body weight off the ground, especially if you're coming from plantar fasciitis, but we do want to start to get some of this spread. So get all the toes on the ground, knees out so the feet are angled in towards each other, and then sit back. As you get stronger and more mobile, you'll be able to keep the knees on the ground and sit upright with your hands off the ground, but that's something we'll get to over time. For this, just feel this and allow the tissue to become more lubricated. These half kneeling tib stretches, we're going to focus on the actual arc of the lower leg. So you're going to put the top of the foot down, but instead of just stretching through the top, we're going to go at an angle. So you're going to sit down, angle the top of the foot in, so you're not rolling directly over the top of the front of the ankle, but going around towards the side, and then just sit back. Support yourself with your hands on your knee, rock back and forth, and just allow this to move. You'll feel the knee start to rotate a little bit, and this is something you can hold on to something with your hands to take the weight off, but this should be an easy, safe place you can spend a few seconds or a few minutes every day just sitting and exploring as you open that ankle up. So in this, we're going to look at how to massage and release a posterior tibialis. Now, this isn't going to be anything intensive because you're just doing it with your own hands. It's a manual movement. But the posterior tibialis is a muscle that runs under the bottom of the foot, so it creates part of the arch, and then it wraps around the inside of the ankle and then goes directly behind the tibia. So that's that shin bone. Now, what happens when people have a collapsed arch and the inside of the foot is pressing down is it stretches this out and it causes irritation and overload on this muscle. And that can feel a lot like shin splints. So to help relax this or release this, after practice and or before running or training and after running, you can sit down and then take your fingers and press in. Now you're going to hold down the spaces, you run along the ridge of that tibia and hold down the spaces that feel painful. Then you're going to use the ankle and the foot to do some circles or points to get that muscle to pull and engage. Eversion, inversion, all the works. Then you can do the same thing with a lacrosse ball. You can press in, use that for a little bit more force if your fingers are getting tired. Ultimately, we just want to get some neuromuscular control to relax that with a little bit of that compression, that self-myofascial release, and that'll take a lot of pressure off.